you typically think about boosting posts, right? And when you boost a post, it's pretty generic, it's pretty general, right? It's just taking that post and then shoving it out to a bunch of people and showing it. There's no real specific goal, there's no real tangible thing. Now when you boost a post, you do have options to change things and be more specific, but you're really gonna get the most bang for your buck if you use the Meta Ad Manager. It used to be called the Facebook Ad Manager. If you Google Facebook Ad Manager, it'll pop up. This is a tool that's going to allow you to run advertisements that will be able to directly target people who you are looking for. Now, when you are doing advertising on Facebook, it is important to remember fair housing guidelines, right? What you can and cannot say, how do you word things properly. It's also important to remember what the state says about marketing in general, right? So you follow those same guidelines. Now, Facebook is pretty good about rejecting ads that do not follow fair housing guidelines. And we'll kind of get into that. We actually ran an ad here at SPAAR.
Really?
And I tagged it appropriately, did everything right, and then Facebook was like, you can't do this. Turns out there were 2 categories that I had to select it. Apparently they considered it a political ad, even though it was very much not political, but their system flagged it for it. So if you do run into those issues, it can be frustrating and you're just gonna have to find workarounds.
More just curiosity, what happened, like, did they just say, did they not post it? Did they?
Yeah, the ad just gets rejected. So all ads that you put through on Facebook, it goes through an approval process before it actually goes out.
Can I ask the question, or do you want to wait till the end?
No, that's fine.
Well, so it used to be, when I was doing this before, that you could really segment your audience, but now can you still pick ages, locations? Do they still let you do that, or is that like against the rules now?
They do still let you do that. It's a lot more broad just because there was a lot of pushback that Facebook got, especially in 2016 during the election, for targeting. You can pick job titles, you can pick those sorts of things. When you are marking it as a real estate or housing related, it is going to change the options you have. It also gives you a warning message to keep it broad. So in terms of when and I always advise talking to your broker about it, right? Or whoever your manager is on, can you do Facebook advertising? Is that allowed? Because I know every brokerage kind of has their own rules. Some brokers want you to submit the ad to them first before they approve it. And you can be specific, but you want to be as broad as possible. So it's best to target areas and then general interests, like they're interested in Zillow, or they're interested in Realtor, Realtor.com, those sorts of things. So it's not gender specific, it's not nationality specific, any of those types of categories, because that's going to get you in trouble.
So you could, like, for instance, there's first-time home buyer money in Edina. So I could target Edina and 50 miles out. Would that be okay, and just put the Edina ad there for that money? Okay.
Yep.
Location's okay, it's.
Yeah, it's really about like going back to fair housing, right? You wouldn't put a sign that says, no children allowed, right? You wouldn't do that, right? So don't do that on Facebook. However, you would advertise normally with your print marketing, with your billboards, with your flyers, the exact same principles apply on Facebook. Now, Facebook might be a little bit more picky about it because they have gotten in trouble in the past, and so they've really cracked down on it, which is a positive thing, because it's hard to screw up then, right? It's hard to do something wrong. So, when you're doing your Facebook ads, you want to plan it out, right? What is the objective of the ad? What are you actually trying to accomplish? Are you just trying to accomplish a bunch of reach, just having a lot of people see it, or are you wanting them to take a specific action? The most bang for your buck and what you're going to get out of it is how you're actually going to, what your goal is going to be. Now, we're going to go to Ads Manager here, and we're going to go to this account, even though I'm going to swap accounts. And I'm going to switch to SPAARs and use SPAARs as an example. So, we are going to create a new campaign here, and you can reach us a couple different ways. You can just Google search Business Suite, Meta Business Suite, and in there it has tools for you to be able to select it. Or you can just search Google Ads Manager or Facebook Ads Manager, and you'll be able to find it. So here it's going to ask us, what do we want to do? Do we want awareness? And awareness is essentially just going to push it out to a ton of people. Do you want traffic? Are you trying to generate leads towards a specific site? Taking a specific action? Engagement. Are you wanting them to comment? Are you wanting them to like the post? Leads. Leads give you even more specific than traffic, where you can set up a pixel on your website that'll essentially track a conversion and you get paid based on conversions. App promotion, which if you don't have an application and you're not really using one, not really necessary for you. And then sales, you want people to buy certain products, right? So if you have physical products or digital products. I would typically recommend focusing on the traffic and the leads. For this one, we're going to focus on the traffic just because it's a lot easier to understand, and setting up the Facebook pixel on your site is a little bit more complicated, and actually you need more technical knowledge on how to implement on that. So we're going to collect traffic, and it's great because it gives you what each one is. So if you forget what it's about and you're going in here, it'll tell you what it's good for, which is awesome. So we are going to click continue. Now you can name this. So I'm just going to name this Good Morning SPAAR. And you can create this as a template if you want to consistently reuse it. Now, this is the special ad categories. You need to declare this if you're in real estate. So there's credit, employment, housing, social, elections, or politics. This is where Facebook didn't like me. So like I said, we ran a fair housing ad. We were promoting the fair housing coloring contest that we were doing here at SPAAR. Kept it very generic, kept it to a wide range of audience. I selected housing because I was like, well, we're technically a housing organization. And then it marked it as something that was, they considered a social issue with elections and politics. If you are going to do stuff with elections and politics, you do have to submit your ID to verify who you are, because they just don't want people running a bunch of political ads and then there's no actual face to the name and repercussions for those. So we're going to click housing. This is ads for real estate listings, homeowners insurance, mortgage loans, or other related opportunities. I would mark this so that it understands that, hey, my Facebook page, the ads that are going from this, they're from a realtor or a loan officer or so forth. Helps you not get in trouble. Countries, we're just in the United States. It gives you some additional detail about how declaring this category helps and so forth. I won't get into that because we only have 30 minutes. And I want to talk about the funnel and why with traffic, it's important to make sure your funnel is set up. The buying type is auction. We can adjust this. For this one, we're not able to. And then campaign objectives, we're going for traffic. That's right. You can do A/B testing, which essentially allows you to change a graphic out, or change some text, or change, doing the link, those sorts of things. And then it'll run both the ads and split the ad money. And then you can decide, this one's performing better than this one, so I'm going to stop this campaign and then adjust this one to put all the money into that one. So that is an option. It is very helpful to do A/B testing and take the time to do that. I understand you don't always have the time. You don't have to do that. You can always just set your campaign, go, and then reevaluate, 2 weeks out, 30 days out, and adjust. This advanced campaign budget, I would recommend turning this on. It's going to help maximize the amount of money that you're spending to get the best results. So essentially what it does is it will disperse your budget across the ad set to get more results depending on your delivery, optimization choices, and bid strategy. I always select this on because it's nice and helpful. Now, this is the budget section. You've got to decide, do you have a lifetime budget or do you have a daily budget, right? So let's say you're going to do, I want to do $100, right? You would do lifetime budget and put in $100. I'm going to put in $100. Boom. And the campaign bid strategy, I want the highest volume possible. I want the most amount of people clicking on this link, because the more traffic we get, the higher we have a chance for someone to actually convert or take the action we want them to.
Can I ask one little question?
Yes.
Why would you choose a lifetime budget versus daily budget?
Depends on what your goal is. So if you are, let's say you're gonna be always running ads, right? And it's an ad you always wanna run, or you're just doing it for a specific time frame. And let's say you choose, I wanna do $10 a day. Well, $10 over 30 days is $300, right? And it'll be around that amount of money. Sometimes it'll be a little less than that per day or so forth. So really it's determined on what you're wanting to spend. Right, so if you have a cap on like, I can only spend $50 on these ads, then put that as the lifetime budget.
Okay.
If you're like, hey, I have a daily budget, so I have more flexibility, or I have scheduled that on every single day, I want to spend $10 a day on advertising. Or I have a daily advertising budget of $100. I want to take 75% of that and put that into print marketing and other things, and then I'm going to take the other part of that and put that into ads. So it allows flexibility for what works with your budget.
But it's gonna reach the same people. If you have $100 lifetime or you have $10 a day for 10 days,
Yeah,
you're gonna
it-
get the same result?
Not necessarily, because the results are determined based on your ad and if people are actually clicking on it.
Okay.
Facebook can't promise you clicks. They can give you a gist of how many people you will reach. And generally, the conversions are actually pretty good. For example, I was running I've been helping someone else with some ads, and they were doing it for a business networking group that's over in Illinois. And we're seeing pretty solid like click-through rates, and we're spending maybe $1 or $2 to click through. Now they have a more specific organization. And then likewise, over on Google Ads, it's costing a lot more. So the question is, okay, which one do you do more? So it's nice on that one. And then I have another guy that I've been doing some stuff for, and kind of he's like, hey, can you help me with this? And we're getting people to click on the link for 9 cents.
Oh.
So it's all kind of determined based on who you're targeting. Are they actually going to click on it, and then making adjustments? And then likewise what you're trying to have them do. So we're going to have it go to a website because that's what we want it to go to. You can also have it be calls. So someone can call your business. So if your pipeline in your funnel, right? So you have your funnel. This is your general advertising to get them to go to the next level, to get them to go to the next level, to get them to go next level, right? The sales funnel, the process that you walk through. So let's say you're like, you know what? I don't have a website. I want people to call me, and I already have what my walkthrough and my process for converting leads, right? You can select get calls, right?
Wow.
And then continue and do your normal stuff. Or if you want to automate a lot of it, you can do website, right? So let's say you're offering get started with me, right? And you have them go to the website. There's a form that they can fill out their contact information, general things, right? With real estate or with realtors, if they're already working with someone and they're under contract with someone, you can't work with them, right? So if they submit something to you and you get the email and they're like, oh yeah, I want to work with you. It's, well, they marked on their list, oh, well, you're already working with someone else. You can call that person and say, hey, you're currently working with someone else. Unfortunately, I cannot work with you at this time. Like, if anything changes, whatever, right? But generally speaking. And you can put that in the form as well, saying, hey, if you are currently working with someone, I cannot work with you, right? Until that is ended or you move on or whatever. So I'm going to select website because that's what I personally like. Dynamic creative. So this provides creative elements such as images, headlines, and they automatically generate it. I don't do that because I like to create my own stuff. And that's what I would recommend doing. And then you can do a budget and schedule. Once again, this is the start date and the end date for the ad. So because we selected the lifetime budget as $1,000, I typically run ads for about 30 days, right? Here at SPAAR, I do that because I have an ad budget every single month for 30 days, and I want to accomplish something within that 30 days. Sometimes it starts at the beginning of the month, sometimes it's in the middle, different points, but I usually like to do 30 days because it gives it a good amount of time for it to kind of get spread out and generate a lot of leads. Now, if you want to do it in like 2 weeks, you can. If you want to do it in a week, you can, but I would recommend at least trying 2 weeks to make sure you have a good sample size of data across multiple things, and it takes time to actually work. And then you get to the audience. Now, you can do a couple things here. One, if you have an email list and contact list, and let's say the goal of your ad is to just reach clients that you've worked with in the past, or people with business cards that you connected with earlier, you can upload those as a lookalike as an audience and specifically target them, and Facebook will find them and say, hey, here's this person's ad. So an example of this is I have a friend who's a mortgage guy, and Jeff knows him. And what he did is he took the top 200 selling agents that he had met in Minnesota and pumped them in there and did $200 a month, and he would constantly pop up on their Facebook feed. And anytime he ran into them, because he constantly was going to events, anytime he ran into them, they're like, man, you're everywhere. Like, I'm seeing you all the time. It's an ad and they have no idea.
Yeah.
Not that you're trying to deceive them, but it's a way to stay top of mind. So that goes back to identifying what is your actual goal, right? So for this example, right, we're trying to generate leads. So that's one strategy we could take. We could be targeting people who we are already connected with or are in our CRM.
Luke, did you say give them the email addresses or just the names?
Name, email, phone number. Because if any of that is associated or with a Facebook account, Facebook will identify them and reach out. So I've done that here for SPAAR because we have over 8,000 members. I take our entire member list and I dump it in there so I can make sure that our members are the ones seeing what I want them to see. Yes?
For someone that's just thought of, like someone was tagging me, I have like a professional email address, but then personal. What happens if you, I mean.
Whichever one is associated with a
With it
Facebook
there,
account.
okay.
So if they have
But
Facebook.
they may not use their business email address for their Facebook.
Nope, they might not, but it also, they could have punched something in
phone
on
number.
Facebook once, their phone number, if they
Yeah.
have their own business page with a separate email attached to it, names. It's
Okay.
not a perfect system.
Right, I was thinking that.
Yeah, so as much information as you can give it, the better, right? Like I wouldn't put like age and like, firstborn's last, like middle name, like anything like that. But just the general information that people typically give on Facebook, so that way it can identify those users. And for the most part, it does a really good job of doing that. Like I said, it's not perfect. There's gonna be times where it's not gonna be able to identify certain people, but the more lists you have, the better. The next thing you can do, you can take that contact list and you can say, hey, I want you to find people similar to this, right? So they can scan those people and say, they have all of this information in common, so we're gonna go find people with all that same information in common, and then we're gonna send the ads to those people, right? That's another thing you can do. You can also do a percentage of your page, right? So let's say your Facebook page has like 1,000 people. You can say, I want to take 10% of the people who are on this page or that are, and make a lookalike audience to them. So find me people who look exactly like them in what they like, in their preferences, how they're engaging, the different things they're looking at. That is another way to target individuals. So you see, there's a lot of ways that you can be targeting and getting to those specific people that you're looking for. For this general purpose, we're just gonna keep it pretty general, right? We're gonna keep between the ages of 18 to 65, right? That wide range, not discriminating against anyone, all genders. One thing I do really like is advanced placement. So this maximizes your budget and helps show your ad to more people. So it will deliver it, will allocate your ad set budget across multiple placements based on where they're likely to perform best. So Facebook advertises in multiple different spots. You got the sidebar, you got in the feed, you have stories, you have that on Instagram. So there's a lot of different places. I usually check this on if I'm like, hey, I want to reach the most amount of people the most efficient way, right? Now, when I would not use that is, okay, I have this post that I really like, that's really informative, that has a call to action in it, and I want people to see it, right? Then I would do manual placement because I could specifically select how I want that post to be viewed. I just want it to be viewed while they're scrolling through their Facebook feed, right? So there's different options available. For this one, like I said, Advantage Plus, right? It's gonna give you some targeting. With the detailed targeting on demographics, interests, and behaviors. See how it says some detailed targeting options, which may include demographics, behaviors, or interests, are unavailable. This is because you selected housing as an ad category. It literally helps you walk through it. Once again, it's always best to double check, right? Have someone else look at it to make sure that it's following the lines. Check with your broker, check with your boss about it. Excluding any detailed targeting sections is unavailable. So let's see if we have Zillow. Look at that. They are interested in Zillow. Boom. I now selected that as a target range. And I also want to adjust my location here, right? So I don't want people that are just living in the United States. Let's go St. Paul,
Alaska?
St. Paul, Alaska. And then there's this mile radius, right? So I'm going to do 15 miles around here. And it's going to, on the right-hand side, you see here, it's giving me an estimate of the audience size of how many people fit into that criteria, right? Boom. So you can add any additional interests that you want, that you know your target audience is interested in. Like I said, you're going to have to find some workarounds, right? Find some, what type of home pages do you think that your audience follows? Find things that are similar and keywords that Facebook would have in there related to that audience, right? And then we want to maximize it for clicks because we want them to click on the link that we are going to give them. And the next thing we do is hit next. Here, if you have an Instagram account, you can select to include it. I would recommend doing that because, like I said, there's more people on different platforms and you're hitting both audiences at once. So I'm going to select SPAAR's Instagram account right there. Like I said, I have it as created ad. I want to manually upload. Now, there's a few things that you can do with here. So we have our target audience, we have our budget, we have who we're reaching, and now we're going to talk about how we are going to create ad copy to talk to those specific people, right? And for this example, we'll just generally say, well, we're focusing on people who want to buy their dream home, right? We just want people who are interested in buying their home to get to the website to contact us. Maybe we have like a free form or a free buyer's guide that we have on that site that'll really help them, right? So, you can do single image or video. Now I will tell you that videos actually perform the best on, they have the highest ROI. Video content is really king. People pay attention to it a lot. It's not the only thing you have to do. It's not just going to be like a surefire way, but in a lot of testing that people have done, they have found that it has a higher return on your investment, right? Meaning you're going to actually get more sales off of it. Now, those weren't necessarily for realtors or real estate professionals, so I don't have any statistics on how it works for them, but in general, when they were doing their testing, they saw a higher return on their investment. Carousels. If you have 2 or more images, right? How many people are familiar with carousels? There's swipe throughs. So on Instagram, right, you have the option to post multiple images, right? And they can swipe through them, and they can all be similar, right, and show through a walkthrough process, right? So let's say we're saying 5 home buying tips that every new home buyer needs to know. And on each one, it has the next one, the next tip, the last one being, found this helpful or have more questions, contact me, right? That's kind of what a carousel is. So it's a slide through, right? So you think about when a carousel, it goes around and around and around and around. It's essentially what that is. This is a great opportunity to have multiple value propositions on those images. Now with your images that you use, you want to make sure that your text is only taking up 25% of the screen. You do not want to have it take up more. Facebook does not like that. They want to have more of the image in there. So you got to be very specific and make sure that you're really getting in tune with what it is, right? So that's just text. You can have an image and then a white bar below with the text, but as long as the text is really not taking up a whole ton of it, I'd say you can push it to 50% because I've seen it push that way and it's been totally fine. But that's just their recommendation. So we're going to select single image because I only have, actually we'll do a carousel because I have 2 images here. We'll show you how that works. So now you have to add your content. So I need to add an image card, I can have a video card, I can create or take cards from previous ads that you have created. For these, I just have 2 images. So I am going to show you, where are my downloads? I have 2 images. I know I'm coming up on time here. I have this one that says, helping you find your dream home, inquire now, and then a random web address. And then I have this one, find your dream house. House hunting. Our expert team is dedicated to finding, touring, and closing on a home that checks all your boxes. Save time, money, and stress with our seamless service. Get started today. And I'm showing images that are related to typically what you're seeing, right? Find images on types of houses and designs that people are actually really liking, because it's going to resonate with them, right? If you just do like, if you're, you know that the people you really work with really like farmhouses, or that's the style. Whatever the style that is really going on right now, use that, because you're gonna attract the most amount of people, right? A lot of people are liking that white, that cream color, right? The more modern feel, kind of a little bit of the farmhouse, right? Sometimes rustic. So find what's popular and grab those images. Now I made those all within Canva. So we're gonna take these, I'm gonna add an image card. I'm gonna click upload. Oop. I'm going to go to my downloads,
Where did you make those?
Canva. It's a free software that allows you to, there's a free and a paid version of it that allows you to create social media graphics, flyers. You can do videos with it. I typically make all my presentations with it. This is what Canva is, and I made them right inside of here. They have templates available. You can select what you're doing. If you're doing an ad on Facebook and you're gonna have it on multiple places, just make it 1 by 1, right? Or how you would post on an Instagram post in terms of its size, just a square box, because that's gonna allow for the most dynamics. It's a great program.
Okay.
It's really good.
So I'm gonna take this one, and this is gonna be my first image, and then I write my short headline, right? House hunting. I have my description, right? So let's say, we can help you find the perfect home. And then we have the website URL, right? So make that website URL whatever it specifically is. Give me the example. I already added media. What are you doing? Okay, so normally it'll show you a preview on the right-hand side, and Facebook is not liking that right now for some random reason, but it shows you a preview on what your ad will look like. So this headline is the big text, right? If you've ever seen an ad, it has that big text with the headline, and then there's that small description underneath it. And then when it shows up as a post, right? So we could add a second card, and we could do that, and it'd be awesome. Now what they have is your primary text. So this is like when it's going to show up like a Facebook post or an Instagram post. So I made some copy that I want to use that's going to be eye-catching, and I made that with AI after a little bit of external writing and changing things up because it's not always perfect, right? So now I have my primary text. I also want them to add music because they found that actually having music on your advertisements actually makes them perform better, and they will automatically do that for you. As well as, what is this? They automatically show the best performing card first. So whichever card people are clicking on first, right? If you have multiple, they're going to show that one first. These are great to have checked because it's going to make sure that you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Facebook wants you to succeed because if you're making money off of it, they're making money. So then you're going to spend more money, right? So they're always wanting to make it worth your value. All right, I got to finish up here. We're going to have learn more, you just get started. You can put no button. If you're trying to have them click on a link, put a button. Get a quote, apply now, book with us, contact us, right? Whatever that may be, whatever fits what landing page you're going to. Remember, it's all about the funnel. And then tracking. If you have a pixel, it's worth tracking. If you don't know how to set that up, don't necessarily worry about it. Or find someone who is a developer or who is familiar with it and they can help you with it. It's just going to be able to you to get more metrics on success. That's pretty much it, and then we can click publish. So any questions on how you are generating leads through this process or how this tool helps you generate leads? So their funnel, right, is they see the ad, they get interested, they're clicking on that ad, we're taking them to our website landing page that has hey, we can help you find your dream home, right? Contact us today, whatever your second value proposition is, and then they hit get started, and then you walk them through whether that's a form or a contact us now button that's a form, or however you want it to be. So that's why there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do. The easiest thing is just have them go to a landing page, give them some other text that talks about your value, positioning your client and your target audience as the hero, and you're just helping. We're helping you find your dream home. We're here to assist you in making the right big decisions, right? Position yourself as the mentor, not the hero, right? Think Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Luke was the hero. That's your client, right? That's the people that you want. Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's you. You're just guiding. You're Yoda, right? You're the sage. You're the expert, right? But they want to be the hero in their story. Yeah, or if you just want it to have to be a call you right away, then you'll just start getting phone calls. Yes?
How often should you freshen the ad up?
I would review it monthly.
Okay.
Find out what's working, change up the images, change up the text, right? Come up with different ad ideas, right? Hitting on different value propositions. It doesn't have to be about finding your dream home. You know, it could be about navigating the market. It could be about, changing it up, whatever you want to do, but think about how they're going to interact with it best. I usually like to take it and review it every 30 days. I review it as it's going, and if it is really low performing and I'm like, this is not doing what I want it to do, I'll switch it up within 2 weeks. But I at least give it 2 weeks, and then by the end of the 30 days, then we make adjustments. But it's based on, project and what your goal is. Like if you're not getting any link clicks at all, or if you're getting people that are going to the website and then they're not interacting, okay, well, it's not the ad. So then you identify, well, they're not clicking on my contact me, so what is it on that page that's not getting them to click it? Should I have a walkthrough form instead? Should I have just a call now button? Change it up. Yes?
Can you hit preview before you hit publish?
Yes, typically it'll give you a preview right here, and I don't know why it's not allowing me to do that. But typically it does that. So let me go back, and here's the all member survey ad that we had. I know I cannot edit this. So see how it gives me a preview? And you can select where it's on. Is it on your mobile feed? Is it on your desktop feed? This is how it's going to look at people when they're going through it, right? So we have the all member survey. Take the 2023 SPAAR survey. That's the header, that's the description, this is the primary text up here. Likewise, if it's going to be in stories, how will it look when it appears in stories across platforms? How is it going to look when it appears in an article? App sites, because when you choose that dynamic placement, it's going to place it not just on Facebook. They also have a wider audience where they will actually post your ads on other websites, on apps, and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy that they do that now, that it extends beyond it. But if you select manual placement, you can kind of remove all that if you don't want it. So that's, normally it will show you a review of it before you publish it. So you can see what it looks like.